heading into week 5, the Bills have been one of the most disciplined teams in the league, not turning the ball over. However, everything went wrong against the Patriots on Sunday night with 3 turnovers and a 23-20 loss. Is this just a blip in one game or a sign of something to come? For the Bills, really starting since last year, toward the end of the playoffs, I'd say 2 years ago, they had made a concerted effort not to turn the ball over, to run it more, to have Josh throw less risky shots down the field, and it produced an MVP, and it produced a lot of wins so far for the Bills. And even this season, they've come out 1 turnover in those first 4 games. However, Sunday night against the Patriots, you saw 3 turnovers, 1 weird missed handoff between Josh and Knox, a fumble, just trying to run the ball, just got punched out, and a really, really bad and extremely rare nowadays Josh Allen interception in the red zone. And I think you'd have to say that definitely cost them the game. They were just way too sloppy with the football, and especially with the team that they have and some of the other issues that they have, which we'll get into. That is what they hang their hat on. So for that to happen, not a good sign on a one-night basis. I'm not going to say this takes away from who they've been trying to be, who they've successfully been over the last 2.5 years. But specifically in this game, it clearly cost them. Can't even really argue it. And now the Patriots defense forced some of them, right? Like I'd say they forced the punch-out fumble. But that Josh throw, like we normally just don't see him make that decision. Or we haven't recently. And you just can't get the ball punched out running it. Now, something else that was huge. 10 penalties. They were just cooking themselves. So not only are you turning the ball over, but then you get those big plays and a lot of them coming back due to holdings. Just a weird game for the Bills. Everything just seemed a little off on the offensive end. And a lot of those penalties and turnovers were a result of just something being off. And speaking of which, for the offense, Joe Brady might be one of the most polarizing offensive coordinators in the league. I actually like Joe Brady. I'm interested in what Bills fans think of him. A lot of people in this group chat I'm in, where we talk football, do not like Joe Brady. They think he's very overrated. I can't defend. Well, I was going to say I can't defend his play calling last game, but he was trying to run the ball. He saw something in the Pats secondary, Christian Gonzalez, that's his name, and the overall defensive speed. Marcus Jones, a crazy punt returner. So to have him at slot is insane. And they were trying not to do what they ended up doing, which was throwing the ball a lot and put the ball in harm's way. Now the Pats offense started scoring in the second half, so that led to it. But I mean, the first half for the Bills, 3 points. Like we said, the 2 fumbles, just really not good. And in the second half, you see it picked up. They look like the Bills. Now, one thing I will say, they continued to run a very simple play action fake, crosser, because the Patriots were just going to play man. And I was thinking, like, why do they keep playing man? But then you see it late in the game. Once that space kind of leaves, do the Bills have an offensive bag that they can go to that isn't just Josh Allen and James Cook go make a play? Or do they have a number one receiver who can just win that matchup? Now, a lot of people are winning that matchup against Christian Gonzalez, but normally for the Bills, that's not really an issue. Their number one guy. They just find people. However, the Pats defense, very sticky coverage, and it was one of the rare games where James Cook didn't get it going. And I think you got to credit the Pats defense. They were trying to run the ball at points, but and Collinsworth was all over the play calling. Very upset. Josh Allen wasn't getting a chance to shine. That's his guy. Or that James Cook wasn't getting the ball. To the Josh Allen point, I will say, he got his chances, and he kind of threw the pick that changed the game when they put it all on him. Now, as far as the creativity of those play calls, it's a lot of Josh Allen, roll to the right, look for something to happen. I don't know the designs. I didn't look at the film. But on those last 3 plays on the field goal drive, where you're hoping to get a touchdown and really put the Patriots at least down 4 in that situation, Josh rolled to the right 3 straight times, didn't want to stay in the pocket, and didn't let the routes develop. Maybe that's what was intended, but their offense does come down to that kind of often. So I'm interested because you wonder if there's a little frustration growing. I saw it, I'm telling you, I saw it a little bit in that Saints game when he was trying to get the ball down the field, through a pick. And so he's going to have to go back. Josh Allen wants to throw the ball down the field. If I had Josh Allen's arm and speed and strength, I would also want to bomb that shit out. Can't blame them. And it's something they've taken out of their game because of what they're trying to beat the Chiefs. However, you see it, and hopefully this is just a blip, because you didn't see it last year. They were really cooking on all ends. But they expected Keon Coleman to be that guy. And so far, he showed you a blip against the Ravens, but who doesn't? And since then, kind of quiet. So we shall see. But the defense stood up. I had a video that made Bills fans very upset, where I said the defense was a problem because the Dolphins were running all over them. But against the Patriots, the defense was keeping them in the game. They held the Pats down all first half pretty much. And then late throughout the entire quarter, they got a huge fumble right after the Bills fumbled the ball to give the Pats the ball in the 50. And for most of the game, now they didn't stop them late in that 2-minute warning, but I just think those were impressive plays from Drake Maye. But for the majority of the game, I mean, that defense was locked in, ready to play. McDermott was dialing up some great blitzes at great times to just throw Drake Maye off on a play where they would need it. Because Drake Maye, again, was very good out there. And so McDermott had to throw him off the spot. Now, the one problem they have is they still have Tre'Davious White, which is wild to me. And Diggs, they just kept going to the right, finding Tre'Davious and exploiting him. So you wonder how much of an issue that's going to be against certain teams. But last night, Bills defense, very, very good. Impressive stuff, because we know the Patriots can score on bad defenses. So I will say the Bills defense, not bad. But for them going forward, I think they definitely got to be more clean with the ball, which they normally are. And I think they need to find something on offense in the passing game. Something that isn't just James Cook. They have tight ends that are very good. That's good. And I think very specifically, let me get extremely specific. They were moving it up and down the field. But if they're going to stuff the run inside the 20s, and it's very rare that happens to them, but if that does happen, they need some more creativity in the red zone, some motion. You saw the Patriots and Josh McDaniels just dial up easy plays for Drake Maye to execute down there when they did have to throw the ball, which was every time because you didn't want to fumble. So the Bills need just a little bit of that, but I don't think they're in any huge danger. They were playing a good team. Sunday Night Football. Now, one concern you can say is they haven't played that many good teams, and I definitely would say, trying to say it last week, their schedule has been super easy to this point, and they didn't look in the first half fully ready for a game of that speed. Now the Patriots were playing at playoff intensity. Gotta keep it honest. So I could see why that caught them a little off guard. But they hadn't played a team that good. You know, Saints, Jets, Dolphins 3 straight weeks kind of lulls you to sleep. And then the Ravens defense week 1. They didn't play anybody as good as the Patriots. Next week they get the Falcons, Monday Night Football. Well, Monday midday football at 7 o'clock. So I'm interested to see how they bounce back. I think they'll beat the Falcons. They should beat them pretty handily. But the Falcons have some corners. They got some speed on the D ends. So you wonder if the Bills get back to running the ball, being physical. I think they got to in that game. But I'm definitely interested for the Bills. And then after that, they get a bye week. And the Chiefs are around the corner. So for the Bills, sky's not falling. Still right there for the 1 seed. Especially because the Chiefs just lost Monday Night Football. And the Ravens look like a mess. So really you're fighting with the Colts and I guess the Patriots and the Steelers right now. And the Jags. Sorry, Jags. Shout out Duval. So for the Bills, we'll see if they can get it back together, right the ship. I expect them to. And if they can continue building what they're trying to build, take away those turnovers, which they normally have, the defense looks a lot better. And offensively, just a few splash plays here or there. And, I mean, can't say after this one game they're not Super Bowl contenders. But we'll see what happens with them going forward. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do weekly videos for each team. So we have playlists directed to your team and the week in the description. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment in that section. I'd love to talk to you guys about what you think about the videos, what could be improved, what I did right. Thank you again. Lumia Sports. Peace.